Shalom, party people, and welcome to the 12th Sea. Just a Nazarene Leather Co. over on Instagram asks, what would you recommend to a person living in a sedentary lifestyle who wants to get physically fit but has zero experience in sports, weightlifting, training, or fitness in general? Well, Mr. Just a Nazarene Leather Co., I am glad you asked. I know a little bit about what you do for a living. I know a little bit about how you spend your time to make the majority of your money. I would say that you being at a desk for most of what you do doesn't mean you don't get up and grab stuff, doesn't mean that you don't, run around and go make some supply runs and things like that, but I would say it's safe to assume that you are, in a chair or not really moving for 3/4 of your job. I would assume that that's a relatively safe bet. Most people that I know, that's their job. They're in a chair for maybe 6 out of the 8 hours of the day once you factor in breaks, moving around, all of those kinds of things. In general, your average American is in that place, and that's the world that we live in. I would say step one, drink substantially more water than you already are. If you're drinking 3/4 to a gallon of water a day, I would do everything you can to try and double that. You will be peeing more, and so therefore you will be up and moving more. If you have to go to the bathroom once an hour because you're ingesting substantially more water, what you can do is a couple of things to increase your movement. Every time you get up, if you do some lunges or, maybe 10 push-ups every single time. Say you take 10 bathroom breaks over the day, that's a free 100 push-ups that you weren't going to do otherwise. That's a free 10 to 15 lunges that you weren't going to do otherwise. That gets some blood flow circulating, that gets you moving, and you have not bought anything. Yes, it takes you away from your desk just a little bit more because you're peeing more. You will find, though, that your mental clarity is better, one, because you're drinking more water, and two, because you are up and moving, your circulation is now better, so that's more blood and oxygen to your brain, so your body's actually able to be more efficient. So yeah, you may be losing a total of 5 to 10 minutes of productivity time, but you are actually gaining substantial returns on the brain power that you still have at your disposal. And let's face it, anybody who's in an actual office job is not doing 8 hours of productive work. Like, I don't care what they say. You might be productive for 6.5, might. And that's just the world that we live in. If you're away from your desk a little bit more, not a lot, not going and, BSing with your coworkers and hanging out at the water cooler for forever because, hey, I have to drink this much more water now. No, that's not how that works. But if you are intentional every time you are up for whatever reason, now that intentional time translates into something that's substantially better. Is it more productive for you to do, a intense workout where your, gains are concentrated to 45 minutes to an hour? Of course it is. But I can tell you that drinking more water and doing more push-ups every time you get up, or doing lunges or squats or burpees, I don't care what you do. Doing those things with a purpose in small sets to where you're not going to build up a sweat is still better than nothing. Because like I said, that's a free 100 push-ups that you weren't going to do otherwise. Now, if you're subbing that out for workouts because, hey, I have to squeeze this in now, it's better than nothing, but subbing it out for your workout, that's not really gaining necessarily anything over what it could have been. So that is something worth considering. I would say investing in a standing desk. What I know of your leather craft, I think you could get away with a standing desk. You might have to do something that's a little bit more of a solid platform. this doesn't have to be expensive. You can actually just take some wood and do a box and do a raised platform on top of your desk. And then, you know, you have your leather mat up there so that way you can do all of your cuts and everything. And now you're up. If you add in a balance board, and I get it, I wouldn't be using an X-Acto knife while you're doing a balance board, but for some of your more nominal tasks, especially if you're doing anything where precision is not necessary for the moment, having a balance board, even using it for 5 to 10 minutes a day at your standing desk, now you're engaging muscles that you were not using. Just standing upright, you're engaging muscles that you weren't using sitting. But if you are adding in a balance board, at the very, very least, take a baseball and stand on it with one foot and like kind of semi-brace yourself with your other hands. As your balance improves, as your posture with that improves, you can go from like 30 seconds to a minute to 2 minutes or whatever. And you can kind of roll your foot just a little bit and kind of ghost your other foot up as a safety. So that way in the event that you need to set it down so you don't lose your balance, it's there. And even if you're just bracing the tips of your toes on the floor to balance out for the other foot that's on top of that baseball or balance board or whatever, now you're still acting in a relatively safe manner where the likelihood of, you know, twisting your ankle or whatever is very, very low. That balance board is going to, like I said, be working additional muscles. You're going to get a little bit of core work in there. And just balancing, you'd be amazed at what you're going to get. If you're not even going to do that, just do the standing desk and stand on one foot for like a minute, and then switch to the other foot and periodically kind of do that throughout the day. Like I said, you're increasing circulation, you're increasing the micro muscle movements, so that way your balance is improving. And people really, really underrate how important balance actually is, because if the micro muscles in your legs and in your core, and even all the way up to your neck, people don't think about that, but like even all the way up to your neck, if the micro muscles that are there are better built, the likelihood for injury and anything else you do goes down substantially. So that's why I highly recommend doing those kinds of things. I would say if you're interested, and you want to have something that's a little bit more resistance training for what you're doing, like you can keep a set of bands at your desk, and you know, you can hook the band into the wall and then like move your leg under resistance while you're standing. That, you know, that's an option. I have not done this myself, but I have seen a kettlebell that you can insert your phone into, and like it's protected on all sides, so like dropping it's not going to hurt the phone. But it's like a 20-pound kettlebell, and people literally carry that kettlebell around with them everywhere they go, and that's free farmers carries for what they're doing. You know, works core work, works balance, works while you're, you know, having things up. And if they're sitting on the toilet and they're on their phone, they're physically having to hold that 20 pounds. Like you'll get some strength gains relatively quickly. You can invest in those grip things that, you know, you can be working with your offhand at your desk. That's movement that you weren't getting otherwise. It's there. So honestly, like sedentary lifestyles at this point, there's enough things that you can be doing that are not difficult, but like keep you moving, that at this point, being truly sedentary past that is a choice. So that is something that is of note. Obviously, you're going to have to watch your diet a little bit more when you're sedentary. Your diet is going to have to be intentional choices. There are people who don't work out very much, like other than maybe a daily walk, which that's something that like I think most fitness levels can do. Go on a walk, even if it's just for a couple of miles. It is way, way better for you than not doing those things. But people who are living relatively sedentary lifestyles, just adding those kinds of things into it, way better. Like just the standing desk alone. This is a stat that blew my mind. If you sit for 8 hours a day, that is worse for your health long term than smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. And smoking a pack of cigarettes a day is not good for your health at all. I'm not advocating that. But sitting for long periods of time, because of the decreased circulation in your body, the likelihood to produce a blood clot in your leg, that is just as deadly, if not more so. And that's something that people don't think about. So think about someone who sits all day long and then smokes a pack of cigarettes a day. What are they doing to their health there? It's not good. So in general, I would have to say, get moving, stay moving. You can do some pretty incredible things for your fitness without being, Mr. Heavy Sports Guy. You don't have to throw heavy plates on the rack of weights and start lifting every single day to be a very fit person. You're going to have to make some intentional choices, but it's a lot more simple than people give it credit for, because they think they have to have these gym memberships. They think they have to do these crazy things. And really you don't. It's about movement. It's about having some level of resistance. Beyond that, it's really not that big of a deal. I would say for long-term health, also for networking, you might want to consider shopping around and finding a group that plays Ultimate Frisbee one night a week, even if it's just in the good weather months. The general area of the country that you live in, I don't think it would be that difficult. Ultimate Frisbee is a very, very easy game to learn. There's also a lot of people at various different levels of fitness. I'm not going to 100% say, hey, go find out Frisbee golf or whatever, because the disc golf game, I know a lot of people who that's all the activity that they get. And depending on the people that you're around, it's more of a drinking sport than an actual, activity sport for them. And it can be like a high activity sport playing Frisbee golf, but I would say finding a group of guys that plays Ultimate Frisbee one night a week or, every other week, I think you're going to find some really, really solid friendships out of that. I think you're going to get some good activity. It'll get you up, get you moving. It's a really easy game to learn, because all you have to do is be able to catch and throw a Frisbee, and you don't even have to do those things well. So being able to join a group like that, it's going to get you out more. And if you get bit by that bug of, oh my gosh, I have to keep doing this, it will spur you on to want to make the aspects of your fitness better. So I would point you in that direction for that reason. I'd love to hear in your comments, concerns, complaints, anything down in the comment section, what you guys are doing to stay moving in a sedentary job. I've had desk jobs before, and I think there's some other people in the comments who can chime in on this and make some pretty good suggestions. Go do hard things.